Wealthy entrepreneurs as a whole aren't driven by money. Some people say that is wrong. They are driven by money. No, they're not. They're driven by something else, something much more important to them, something much bigger. Now, I understand that if you're an entrepreneur, you want to build a successful business. You want to build a 6-7-figure business, even an 8-figure business. I get that. But most entrepreneurs that have hit it big were not just driven by money. Money has something to do with it. There's no doubt about it. Let's be real. But they were also driven by something that comes before and after money, emotional state, the state of your emotions. They want their business to be able to drive them because, yes, they want to have a successful business. Yes, they want to have cash flow. Yes, they want to have profits. Yes, they want to be able to make investments. But you got to understand something. It is the state of your emotion that drives most wealthy entrepreneurs because they want to feel something, not just build something. Did you get that? They want to feel something, not just build something. And this is why that one of the things that most people don't understand are emotions actually are what create wealth. Yes, actions. Yes, conversations. Yes, marketing. Yes, all those different things. But it's the emotions that drive it. It's the emotions that empower it. And it's the emotions that bring forth the actions that will create the wealth. Wealth is driven by psychology. You've got to understand that. 80% of every single thing we do. It doesn't matter as entrepreneurs. I have multiple businesses. My wife and I have just launched another business. We are entrepreneurs, and so are you. But wealth is driven by psychology and not just ego. You have to have the drive. There's no doubt about that. It would be ridiculous saying that we are going to build a business, but we're not going to be driven to do it. You have to be driven to do it. You have to have the unction, the power, tenacity, determination, all those things. But understand what I just said, the unction, the tenacity, you had to have all those things. Well, guess what? They're forms of emotion. Emotions drive determination. Emotions drive tenacity. Emotions drive something that you want so bad that you'll do whatever it takes to get it. That is what we're talking about, folks. Wealth is driven by psychology, not just ego, not just action, not just dreams. It is driven by a psychological, emotional mindset as well as heart set. And this is why that many people get it wrong. They think that as an entrepreneur, they're driven by their dreams. Well, they are, but what drives the dream? The emotion of what their life is going to be like once they hit the dream. Did you get that? The emotion and the feeling of what their life is going to be like, what they're going to live like, the lifestyle they have. And that's the emotion that it brings, because they'll think about 5 years from now living in a really, really nice house. They like that, but it's the emotion, the feeling that brings into their life that really, truly makes it worth their while. The money is important. Don't get me wrong. Revenues are absolutely everything when it comes to being able to build a business, because if you don't have any revenues and profits, you're going to be out of business pretty quick. But money is just a scorecard to the majority of entrepreneurs once they hit a certain level of revenues, once they hit a certain level of money and wealth flowing in. It took me a while to figure this out. And my mentor taught me, he says, Douglas, he says, if you're going to build a business of wealth, you're going to have the emotions that drive it, not just the actions. He says, because the emotions are what really, truly set it apart. And he says, most people can't handle the ups and downs of entrepreneurism. Most people can't handle the one day you're on top of the world, the next day you're down in the valley. He said, the money's just a scorecard, because what they're really chasing is something different. Did you get that? Entrepreneurs are chasing something different than just what money can do or what money is. Number one is freedom. They want freedom. And the reason for that is because freedom is what gives the wealthy that wonderful feeling of I can go where I want, be where I want, with whoever I want, and however long I want. Freedom is everything to the wealthy. For the last almost 39 years, I've had freedom that most people couldn't believe because, yes, I work very hard. I'm sure you work very hard. But what drove me in the early years and through all the disappointments and the heartaches and all that other stuff was the fact that I wanted to live a life that I owned, that I was in charge of, not somebody else. So it's that simple. They're also not, they're not just chasing freedom. They're chasing control. Did you get that? They want to control their future. They want to control their lives. They want to control their income. They want to control what they feel they can control. There are certain circumstances. It doesn't matter what it is. You can't control the weather. I mean, you can't control what God does, but you can have such an amazing control over where your destiny is going, from the choices you make, the decisions that direct you, and the actions that make sure that you get there. They want to make sure that they like the feeling and really chasing is freedom, control, expanding their business, expanding their life. That's what they're chasing. They want something bigger, bolder, better, and knowing that it's out there. You have to go get it, though. It's not going to come to you. And that's one of the reasons why, that not only freedom, control, expanding their business, but another thing they want to do is they see a self-image, a version of themselves in the future that they like, and it feels great to look at and say, that's me in the future. Well, they're chasing what you call future self-image validation. They want to validate that really truly is who they're going to be and moving towards, versus just money. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs that hit it big and they're very, very well off. But they've all said the same thing. The money was just a byproduct of what I really wanted. I wanted freedom. I wanted control. I wanted to expand my life. I wanted to be able to take vacations how long I wanted to and where I wanted to. And the other part of it is, people that are very wealthy and that as entrepreneurs, they want to be able to have control of their own brain. A lot of times when you go to work, and there's nothing wrong with it, if you got a job, great, wonderful. But if you go to work, your brain is doing what it's been told to do by somebody else. Entrepreneurs, they don't want that. They want to have control over their own brain, tell it what to do, how to do it, and then from there have so much more of a feeling of creativeness, creating something for their business, not somebody else's business. Being able to do, if they work nights, it's working for their business, not somebody else's business. That's critical, folks, because wealthy entrepreneurs aren't just driven by money. They're driven by the emotions that come with success, that come with owning their own business, that come with control, that come with freedom of life. They don't want wealth. You know, it took me a long time to figure this out, because my mentor told me one time, he says, Douglas, most entrepreneurs that are wealthy didn't want wealth. I love, what? They didn't really necessarily want wealth. What they wanted was the feeling that wealth would give them. And what I did is I've gone through in this video, maybe 5, 6, 7 different things that are emotionally based, but yet money is driven by it. And what I mean by that is emotions drive actions, which drive money and profits. They don't want wealth. They want the feeling that wealth gives them. And finally, they want security, their own security, not somebody else giving it to them, their own security, and knowing that they don't have to worry about things because they know what they're doing. They don't have to worry about ever getting fired. They don't have to worry about anything like that. They have security in a manner that can only come from owning your own business. Guys, understand something. I can tell you right now that from what I have been able to build and from what a lot of other people I know that have been able to build, it's all about the feeling of freedom. It's all about the feeling and the emotions of what wealth will give you. There's no feeling like it. And, you know, we just thank the Lord every day that he has allowed us to be able to build some sizable things that would allow us to live a life that most people would only dream of. Thank you, Lord. And by the way, we're building something special here. Do yourself a favor, subscribe to this channel, but most important and more importantly, send it to somebody and save it, because I'm telling you, we're going to be doing some things that are going to be really, really different, because we want you to understand what it takes to succeed in your own business, whether it's a home-based business, whether it's a B2B business, it doesn't matter. We want you to succeed, and my goal here is for you to build a 7 or 8-figure business within the shortest amount of time possible. And that's why we teach you psychology, tactics, various other things that most don't touch. So anyway, do yourself a favor. Follow this. Spread the fire.